This habit of focusing outward first is what gives fear its fuel. Because as long as you believe that circumstances hold the power, your nervous systems will respond as though you are small and vulnerable and at the mercy of forces that you cannot control. We want you to know that this has never been the truth of who you are. You are creators, experiencers, translators of vibration into form, and you have the ability to choose how you hold yourselves in relation to any event, including the ones that seem the most imposing. 3i Atlas bypasses many of the usual control structures on your world simply by existing outside their reach. No law can be passed to stop it from moving. No narrative can actually alter its trajectory. And so it reveals to you just how much of your fear response is based on the old training to see yourselves as subject to whatever appears in your reality. When you notice this, you have an opening, a gap in which you can remember that your state of being is your true center of power. In this moment, you have another option. You can pause long enough to notice that the fear is a learned response and not an inevitable one. You can recognize that you were trained to view the unknown as dangerous, and you can gently, lovingly question that training. You can ask yourselves what happens when you choose to soften and open instead of tightening and bracing. 3i Atlas is offering you a chance to practice this because it is a large enough event to capture your attention and neutral enough in and of itself that you can experiment with different ways of relating to it. As you do, you discover that when you stop assuming that power exists outside of you, fear has nothing to stand on. It may still arise as a sensation, as an echo of the old conditioning, but it no longer dictates your choices. You become the one who chooses, consciously, how to meet the moment, and in that choosing, you feel your true strength. For a very long time on your world, power was defined as something that lived outside the individual, outside the heart, outside the intuitive knowing that each of you carries within you. Governments, institutions, religious structures, economic systems, and social hierarchies all grew upon this foundation. The assumption that authority must come from beyond the self, and that safety can only be secured by aligning with external structures. This belief did not emerge by accident. It was cultivated over many generations and woven into the expectations you inherited simply by being born on Earth. And so you became accustomed to looking outward for permission, for protection, for direction, and for validation. When a society is built on the belief that power is external, fear naturally becomes the most efficient method for influencing behavior. If individuals believe they are small compared to the systems that surround them, then the systems need only create the impression of threat or instability to ensure compliance. History books document this pattern clearly. Policies justified by fear, wars justified by fear, restrictions justified by fear. But the deeper truth is that none of these structures had power independent of the collective agreement that supported them. They were reflections of the inner state of humanity at that time. Vibrational reality does not respond to force or hierarchy. It responds to resonance. And when more people began to question these structures, to turn inward, to trust their feelings, to sense that something in the old story did not match their own internal experience, the foundation of those systems began to weaken. You are living in the era where that weakening is becoming visible, not as collapse caused by chaos, but as a natural consequence of a collective vibration that has outgrown the structures built upon the old assumptions.